Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to World Creation Realities with Victor Magro Yakubu. My name is Ainaya Iradumba, and today we're going to be talking about the spirituality of money. Now, if you're joining us, welcome to the podcast. This particular podcast was sponsored by La Cream Foods and the Magro Global Nigeria Limited. Mr. Victor, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing very great. Thank you for having me.
Okay. So, let's talk about spirituality of money. I mean, there are a couple of mistakes people make when it comes to money, and you choose to target the spirituality of money. So, let's start. What are these mistakes when it comes to money that people make?
I think I will begin by saying that people are ignorant of what money is. First of all, we understand that life is spiritual.
Yeah.
So, because life is spiritual, almost everything significantly has its link to spirituality.
Okay.
So, therefore, money is a reward for value created.
Okay.
And then, after getting the money, you want to send it on an assignment. So, trying to send money on an assignment means that you have given it a name.
Okay.
Consciously or unconsciously, you have given it an assignment by tagging a name to it. For instance, oh, I have so money. So this amount of money with me. I now want to go to the market and I want to buy a pair of shoes.
Okay.
Now, when you step out to the market and you decide to use that money for something else, it simply means that you're going to be burdened with the issue of not buying a shoe.
Okay.
Simply means that that money has gone in a different assignment that was not its name.
Okay.
So it simply means that the money has failed.
So, in other words, what you're trying to say, in essence, is that let's say I give my wife money to buy groceries for the house, and she channeled that money to buy an ashwebi, for an instance. So, what you're simply saying is that she's going to struggle because the money already has a name, and of course, using the money for another purpose is actually a disobedience to that particular principle, right?
It will disobey that principle, and not just having shame.
Okay.
She's going to have to build up, if she is not God-fearing, she's going to have to build up on lies and lies.
Yeah.
And lies, because she's going to still keep with the same circle and trend until she comes out clean. And coming out clean always means that you're going to face your shame.
Okay, now is this the same scenario we see play out when people collect bank loans? I collected like 5 million naira to pump into my business, and I ended up using the money to do other things other than pumping in my business. We see a lot of people struggle when it comes to repayment of that kind of money. Is it a classical example of what happens?
Perfect example.
Okay.
Now, this is what happens. You go to the bank manager, you discuss with him within your heart. You know that you do not plan to use that money for that purpose.
Okay.
But you decided to give a lie. He doesn't care whether you're telling a lie or the truth. So long as you say, this is the purpose for which, or the reason for which I need this money for. And you decide to use it for a different
for something else. Yeah.
Something else. You're eventually going to end up with shame.
Wow.
Because it is going for a different assignment. It will accomplish it, but that is not its purpose. Now, this is where people get it twisted. You think, oh, after all, I have solved the problem. No, but you're guaranteed to see shame.
Wow. You know, there was a particular day you and I were having a conversation, and you said there was one point in time somebody gave you, you needed money for production. Okay, so do you mind telling that story again?
Yeah, it's one of those examples, and I always want to say that most of the things I want to talk about have to do with experiences.
Okay.
Coupled with studies and
research.
Being a trained engineer, you're trained to ask questions so you can provide solutions.
Yeah.
So I found out at some point I started my business owing no man nothing.
Okay.
So I came clean, turned over my business from zero, and it grew, and I got comfortable with a huge staff members, But then whatever happened, and I ended up needing money. And I went to borrow money. So borrowing money, at the end of the day, where did you end up? You went with the intention to say, I want to use this money to buy raw material.
Yeah.
But instead, the money was used to pay for another debt
Okay.
that seemed to want to bring shame. You've only just created a monster.
Okay.
So because I told the person, and this is how delicate it is.
Okay.
I told this person, I am going to use this money for this purpose. What will happen to you is that you will have to face that person with some kind of excuse, whether to be honest or to tell a lie.
Okay, so your integrity, it's on the line at this particular point.
Absolutely. That is the spirituality of money.
Okay.
You will pay. You will pay.
Okay.
You know. So that's what I try to make clear to young people, especially young entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs. Whatever you now, let's even go to a bigger one.
Okay.
The government.
Yeah.
Budget is prepared, monies are made available.
And they're actually tagged.
And they're tagged. So those monies have a name. Use it for a different purpose. Trust me, shame is going to come. And the dangerous thing about that is that it doesn't care.
Yeah. It's a principle.
It gives a blanket punishment.
Okay.
Blanket punishment in the sense that the people who do not even know or did not even partake
will have to suffer for it.
That is why it's spiritual. So they will suffer, but ultimately, you know, to the deep end, you find out that these people who embezzle government money and all of that end up with some kind of ailment, some kind of shame to their family, some kind of, because it's a law.
It's a principle that they didn't know.
It's a principle that you ignore.
And when you ignore it, you're definitely punished for it.
You will pay for it. So you need to respect money. You need to be careful on how you name it.
Okay.
Do not say, like the scripture we say in the book of Ecclesiastes, saying that don't be a fool. You make a vow and not meet it. What you've done to that money is to make a vow to it. To say, I'm going to use you for this.
For XYZ.
And then you decide to use it for
ABC.
So you begin to experience this kind of shame. So unfortunately for us, many people are struggling, not because they are not prudent, not because they don't know what to do, but in it also there's ignorance of knowing the sensitivity and the spirituality of money. So they tell you that we have done everything right, but no, trust me, when you go into forensic investigation, you will find out that this person actually diverted some of these funds that were budgeted for a different thing entirely.
Wow.
So this is what creates the confusion and the shame that we're experiencing in the world.
Okay, so guys, you've heard it. When you name money, ensure you use it for the particular purpose for which it was named. Else, you might have to struggle through that particular process. Okay, so apart from the issue of naming money, what other money mistakes or spirituality? Okay, well, we're talking about money mistake, but you prefer to call it the spirituality of money. What other money mistake do you see people make on a daily basis in their businesses, in their family lives? And of course, you've mentioned even as a nation that this is okay. So now I even understand that that's why some countries have what is called the monitor the implementation of their budget to ensure that this particular money that has been named is followed to the letter. Okay, so what other money mistakes do you see people making?
There's so very many mistakes.
Okay, so let's hear.
So one of the mistakes also people make with money is to assume that it doesn't matter. They assume that it doesn't matter. Oh, after all, it's mine. After all, I have control over it. After all, I can use it for whatever I want to use it for.
Okay. Now, somebody said to me a couple of years back, he said that there's no evil money or good money.
Absolutely.
That money just takes on the form of the person that possesses the money.
Back to the point. Now you see what we're talking about is spirituality. There is no evil money, but once you give it a name, it goes on that assignment.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay, so now that means if you have like $1 million and you use it for drug, it becomes drug money because the possessor of the money is actually a drug dealer. And if you have $1 million and a business person, it becomes capital because the person who possesses is that what you're trying to say in essence?
Yes. It simply means the money can only take the form of what you choose to use it for. Little wonder you hear of blood money.
Okay. Wow, I'm listening, sir.
Okay, so blood money. I don't like to discuss so much, or I don't want to put energy on negativity. But listen,
Yeah.
blood money. The person who made it knows that it's going to be for this purpose,
Yeah.
and it's going on that assignment. Whether you like it or not, it's going to fulfill the cause for which it's sent. The intention, the verbal declaration. Why do you think people speak the things? And those things take the form and the identity of what they're told to go and do. So don't get it twisted. Money is spiritual. Okay?
Yeah.
It will take the form you tell it, and don't conflict it. It doesn't want to be confused. Don't say I want to do this and I change my mind. No.
So they have to be definite of purpose when it comes to money.
Yes.
Okay.
You have to be very intentional
Okay.
about what you want to do with money. And then, especially in the area of budgeting,
Okay.
and this is where people get it wrong out of personal financing, you mismanage it. You're spontaneous. Oh, you find out that those people are always in debt.
Yeah, those people who are spontaneous
They are
people when
always-
it comes to
yeah,
money.
yeah.
This brings us to a very crucial point. Being disciplined when it comes to money. I've discovered that most billionaires and millionaires are people who are actually strict when it comes to their money. They don't just even carry money around. And when they say that they're going to use money for this particular purpose, they make sure that they follow it to the later. So they don't just see something new and decide to divert the funds that already have been budgeted for a particular thing.
I tell you this, rich people don't carry money. They understand this rule, and that is why you will walk to a rich man and he tells you he doesn't carry money on him. Because every money has been given an assignment. The youth with a poor mindset will think, oh, he's a stingy man. Oh, he doesn't like you. He's a wicked person.
Yeah.
Because he understands that money is not to give to you. So when he carries an extra, he has an intention to spend it. So you can call it miscellaneous, so you can fit into miscellaneous, but so long as he is not carrying any money, you are not part of it, and he will not be stupid to think that he's going to take money out of his business money and give it to you because you have a need. No.
And because the money has been named and it has been set up for a particular purpose.
It will go for the assignment for which it's set. And if it does that, it means that thing is going to suffer. Now, let me bring you to this.
Okay.
Treat money, business, or anything in your possession as your child. If you have a newborn, a new child, what do? You have a budget for his food. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, this is talking about business.
Yeah.
Now, will a stranger come to you? Whatever his problem is, you will take your baby's food and give to the stranger.
No.
Why?
Because of course the food has actually been budgeted for the baby.
For the baby.
Yeah.
So the baby needs to eat the food to stay healthy.
Yes.
Now it simply means that if you divert that food, the baby is going to go hungry.
Yes.
He's going to suffer, and you are also going to be frustrated.
Very true.
So it's simple.
Because the last thing you want to have is a crying baby.
You don't want to have a crying baby.
Especially when it comes to the issue of hunger.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So
those are deep
let's
things.
understand these principles. They are all interlinked.
Okay.
They all cross each other. If you don't understand, life is designed by principles. You live by principles, you will live life easily. I'm always almost not able to hold myself when I enter this realm without wanting to talk about purpose.
Okay.
Everything, whether perfect or imperfect, it's happening for a purpose or designed for a purpose.
Wow. Okay.
So let's not be careless about our approach towards things. Some of us grow through the process to perfect the act of it. But you see, there is failing, there is rising. But the most important thing is, what is the lesson?
What is the lesson? Wow, ladies and gentlemen, this is Wealth Creation Realities with Mr. Victor Magro. My name is Inaya Iradunba. Do not forget that this particular podcast is sponsored by La Cream Foods and the Magro Global Nigeria Limited. Okay, so one more last talking point before we go. I've had a couple of people say that one of the difference between a wealthy man and a poor man when it comes to the issue of money is that before a rich man spends money, I mean, he spends out. You gave us a scenario of money being like your child. He said that they say that they will allow the child to grow, and the child gives birth to other children. Now it's from the grandchildren of the money that they now spend. In other words, they invest their money, and it's the return of the investment that they get to spend from. So they don't spend directly whatever money that comes that comes their way. How true is that, sir?
This is very true. Now, I have many fathers and many mentors.
Okay.
And that is what has formed my thinking into this. Robert Kiyosaki, the author of the Rich Dad Poor Dad series, will say, let your assets buy your luxuries. What does this simply mean? It means when I start up a business, I do not take out of the money for the business to start or do anything else. I take out of the profit from the business.
Okay, so that's like the grandchild.
It is the child or the grandchild of the business.
Okay.
That will do other things.
Okay.
Now, you do not take from the source, you take from the resource.
You do not take from the source, you take from the resource.
You take from the resource.
What on the marble?
So you take from the resource to start up
a
new venture. And that is how you create wealth. Always take from the resource. This gives birth, and it gives birth, and you take from there to do any other thing you want to do. Else, this child is drowning, and you're taking his life jacket to rescue another child that isn't even in the sea.
Wow.
So what you're going to have is two people who will drown.
Okay. Now, in accounting, we've been taught asset and liability. And in accounting, they say assets are properties of a business. Liability is the money that the business is actually owing, right? That's liability. But when it comes to money realities or wealth creation realities, or when it comes to the issue of money, what is the true definition of asset and what is the true definition of liability? You know, you mentioned Robert Kiyosaki, and one of the principles he tried to teach in the book Rich Dad Poor Dad is the difference between assets and liability. So following that line of thought, what is the real definition in the school of business and money when it comes to assets and liability?
Now, Kiyosaki will say, assets are the things that put money in your pocket.
Okay.
And liabilities are things that take money out of your pocket. But I will say, money is what does not take money. I mean, assets are things that do not take money out of your pocket.
Okay, like what? Give us examples.
For instance, what's the easiest? Anything whatsoever.
Okay.
Car is a liability. House is a liability.
Wow.
Yeah?
Yeah.
For instance, if I buy gold,
it's
not a liability.
Okay.
I don't need to service it.
Okay.
Yeah? I just, the only cost is to save it. Protect it. So I'm not going to, it doesn't require maintenance fee.
Okay.
Right? So
how about when you need to clean it once in a while?
Until you don't forget its value is going to increase with time. Even if it decreases, but because they are limited in supply, value will supply and demand is simple economics. So it's going to go.
Okay.
The cost of cleaning your gold is not going to be anything significant.
Okay.
It's not going to be anything significant. So what you basically do is anything that does not take money out of your pocket.
That's an asset.
That's an asset.
Okay.
But anything that you need to maintain
over time,
like
servicing your car,
paying your ground rent.
Okay, that's so okay. A quick one. Now you just mentioned something quite sensitive. Now, are you saying buying a house and renting a house, which one is cost effective, or which one is do I say financially financially smart to do, renting a house or buying a house?
It depends on the location.
Okay.
Now, if I go into real estate, particularly not in Nigeria, because Nigeria, I don't believe our real estate market is structured in a way to be profitable.
Okay.
Yeah, but if I go abroad and I buy a house with the intention of putting it in the market and it's bringing money to me,
Okay.
then I have an asset.
Okay.
But if I buy a house, a big house, staying there, and I'm being taxed on the house, for the house is not bringing any financial profit to me, it means I have bought a liability.
Okay.
Do you understand?
So it's actually relative then.
It's relative.
Okay.
But the idea is that you stay within the guidelines of what is an asset. It doesn't take money.
Out of your pocket.
Good. So it's not taking, if I have a real estate and people are paying, it's rather giving me money than taking.
Okay, so in other words, you would rather go for commercial real estate than living in a private, living in your own house.
Ideally, for me, I don't see any reason why I should live in a more than 2-bedroom house. Depending on the size of my family, anyway, it's relative. But I don't need it because it's going to cost me money to maintain the house. Yes,
It's going to take money out of your pocket.
It's going to keep taking money out of my pocket. And then
you need more staff to be able to
you need more
keep
staff. You need to
the house
because the bigger is the more, the harder and the more cost you need to put in to maintain it.
Yeah.
So keep it within. So it always has to be a balance, and this is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
The math of business or profit is very simple. It's a scale of balancing your income with what your expense.
Yeah.
So anytime your expense is higher than your income, you are in trouble. If your income is higher, you are good. Now, how high?
Okay, so if your income is higher than your expense, you're good. Then if your expense is actually higher than your income, then you're in trouble.
If it's even balanced, you're just getting by. So you're not going to have a better life because there are a lot of eventualities.
Wow.
So make more money, make so much money that you won't have to price
Yeah.
or check the price tag
before you buy.
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, you've heard it. I mean, we've talked about the money mistakes or the spirituality of money, as Mr. Magro Victor Yakubu will always put it. I mean, number one, he said that money has a name, and when you name money, please use it for the particular purpose for which it's been named. And of course, money has purpose. And finally, it's important that you know the difference between asset and liability. Anything that puts money in your pocket and does not take money away from your pocket, that's an asset. And anything that takes away money from your pocket is a liability. And do all that you can to ensure that you have more income than more expenses. In other words, your expenses should be minimal and your income should be high. The higher than your expenses. Of course, you know we can't even fit everything in one episode. So in subsequent episodes, we're going to be talking about how to bring down your expenses and how to take up your income. Probably in our next podcast. Yes, you want to say something, sir?
Yes, I wanted to say you should respect money.
Wow.
Respect money.
Yeah.
If you don't respect money, money will disrespect you.
Wow. Okay, so how does one respect money?
By treating it right, handle it with care, send it on the right assignment. Okay, you misuse money, you treat it with disrespect, it will go on any kind of assignment.
Yeah, little wonder those who get money after a while.
Yeah,
the money just disappears.
and they're wondering because there is no. It is even far beyond. It is so deep that you don't even need a formal education to understand these principles.
Wow. So, guys, you've heard it. There are principles, rules, and regulations that actually govern money. And one of the things he said is that money actually takes the form of the possessor. So, there is no good money or bad money. You are just only a bad person or a good person. So, money in the hand of a good person is actually good money, and money in the hand of a bad person is bad money or drug money or blood money or whatever, or evil money, as the case may be. Do not forget that this particular podcast was sponsored by the Magro Global Nigeria Limited and La Cream Foods. Until we come your way next time, peace.